Welcome to this program, which is your program, Tips for Success. We are going to give you every program tips to help you achieve whatever you want and desire at work and at home.
This is a husband and wife team. In this team, Dr. Rivka, my wife, Dr. Rivka Meir, is a doctor in psychology, and I'm Michael Meir, MD physician and also mental health counselor. We have a purpose to help you, to give you a hand, and to achieve goals.
To achieve goals, first of all, we have to be very clear what is it that we want to achieve. So let's start with objectives, because most of us, they say, oh, I want to win, I know what I want to win the lottery, I want to be a millionaire, I want to have trips, and we don't speak, I want to have a good relationship with my kids. It's very nice, but you know what? It doesn't say anything. Why? Because objectives have to be very clear, they have to be not only clear, they have to be measurable, they have to be possible, they have to be visible, and they have to be obtainable. For example, let me give you a little example. If you want to improve the relationship with your kids, what does that mean? It doesn't say anything, but if you say, I would like to have a coffee with my son or my daughter twice a week, I would like to call him or her to call me twice a week, I would like to go for a walk once a month.
Yeah. When we talk about goals, we know that we invite you to think about the goals you want. We are just giving you examples. So when Rivka says all the characteristic of goals is they have to be very, very precise, exactly what you want to obtain and in how long, short term, long term, right, Rivka?
Exactly what it is. Let me give you first examples of, for example, money. Do you know that most people say, I want money, and they don't even, and I challenge you, how much do you want to earn? But say something realistic. Say something really realistic, possible, that it can be really very obtainable. And what my husband says, Michael, says, you know, it has to be short-term and long-term. For example, if you have a goal to have a good relationship with your child, then you start building it up. What is it exactly what you want? Do you want him to call you, or do you want to take action? Do you want to blame him, or do you want to really change the relationship? So we have to be very, very clear.
Let me ask you something, Rivka. When we talk about goals, we are very focused now in family, and you gave an example of the relationship with our children. Mm-hmm. But what happens in other instances, in other environments? Can we use the same technique in our company, in our work, in other type of relationships? Absolutely
yes. Absolutely yes. And those are the tips that we are going to start talking. And let's start right now. For example, if you want your kids, do you want us to start with the kids, or do you want us to start with money? You know what? We're going to start today with the children, relationships at home. And next program, we are going to start with money. How much money you want to make, and what can you do? The tips for success that will help you achieve, yes, the money you want, even in time of crisis. What do you say? I challenge you. Do you dare? You have to watch our next program for that. Let's start today with children. For example, if you want to improve communication, if you want to see him more often, if you want to have a better, whatever you want.
And also to become confident, to have them call to you and ask you for advices, for guidance. They are not anymore small children, perhaps they are married, they have children, and we would like to continue this type of relationship when we used to guide them and teach them how to achieve things.
Including whenever they are children. You cannot demand You cannot impose. Of course, you have to impose some limits, but with respect. We forget about gratitude. We forget many times to play, to say thank you, to say how smart or how good you are. We are always demanding. We are always asking them to do. We are not giving them chance. We are not giving them time. We are not smiling. We are not doing so many good things. And usually our mind is so busy with so many things that we are, of course, we are all busy, but we don't pay so much attention to them. That is, our body is with them, but not our mind, our emotions, and our good habits, good attitudes. And usually we use mistaken and negative attitudes. And that is what we are going to be talking today.
And how often we say to our children, I love you. And it's very, very important. And what we want to really stress is the quality time we have with them. It's not the amount of time, it's not the number of hours we spend with them. It's quality time. It's to choose with them the type of games we play, the type of shows we see, we watch in TV, the type of movies, or just walking, or just ask them to help us. Ask for them, their help us to build up our relationship, our communication with them.
Make them feel happy with you. And talking about that, so objectives have to be clear. If you want with your children, start giving them a kiss, telling them how good they are, instead of telling them all the time how bad they are, how wrong they are doing, what they forgot. We become so negative that we forget who we really are, and they forget who we really are, and we create really a negative environment. But let's start now with negative attitudes. Did you know that negative attitudes are more contagious than the flu? It is an epidemic that goes in families, in companies, in organizations, and in society. And you know what? You will say, oh yeah, but they should change. Guess what? In this program, we are going to give you the tips that you change. And you know what happened? When you change, everything changes. Let me give you an example. Did it happen to you once or sometimes in your life that you were very happy and everybody smiled at you and everybody talked to you and everybody felt great with you? Yes? Well, the same is true whenever we are not so happy. I know you and me and all of us, we have plenty of excuses and plenty of problems just not to be very happy. But you know what? That's a point of view also. It's a belief. So let's talk about negative attitudes. What is a negative attitude?
Negative attitudes, very well. How do you react? What's your behavior when you dislike something?
Most of the people, they tend to say, I don't like it. I don't like, or say, with a bad face.
This is also the silent treatment. I don't talk to you, or very often with the children, the shoulder treatment, I don't care, or we slam doors, we knock at the table. Why is all these type of reactions, Rivka?
Yeah, why do you think they are? Many people say, well, I learned, that's how I am. In my house, that is how I learn. This is how most people are. People have to listen to me.
I inherited.
He, she, whoever is guilty. I'd like you to think for a moment. Remember a time that you really wanted to change something in your life. You wanted it with all your heart, and you really did it and succeeded. How come? How come that you're not changing this? And let me tell you more about negative attitudes for you to identify them. For example, to gossip, to talk behind their back, to blame somebody, to criticize, to judge, to unite with somebody either in the family or in an organization to make alliances against a family member to say, he or she is not a good person. And if you go with her or with him, I will take your money away, I will not talk to you, I will not, all kind of nonsense that we do. Isn't that true? We gossip, what else we do? We throw doors, we throw temper tantrums. So how come that, I am sure you don't like this kind of attitudes. How come that you don't change them? Do you want to know why? Because those attitudes, you don't change them because they are to manipulate, to get my way no matter what, to push everybody else to do whatever you want, in the way you want, and if not, they will get it. And why do you isolate a member of the family, for example, or a company? Could be jealousy, could be, it's always a hidden agenda of all the attitudes you do. Could be, like I say, jealousy, competition, could be that you unite with another family member. One could be jealous and the other one could have done something really dirty in the back, and uniting them and isolating the other person, they really show that they are right and they show that the other one is wrong.
Could be arrogance also. Could be to have the power in the place you work or at home. Could be dominating a situation. All these elements.
Now, we are talking about children. Did you know that our children learn not from our words, but from our actions? Now imagine if you have 2, 3, 4 children, and your children see you resentful, hateful, isolating a family member. So they learn by example. What do you think is going to happen between them whenever you are alive or not alive? For sure, they will isolate one of their brothers and sisters like they are doing it, like you taught them very well. Do you really want that to happen in your family? Do you really want that to happen? To be right, and dead right because those attitudes, and we truly know that attitudes causes stress and really harms you, harms the people around you, harms the other person, and it contaminates the whole situation. So, what can you do to really change? And those are the things that we are going to give you. So, if our intention, resentment, anger, hate, is causing so much harm and it's really making you sick, and causing this to keep repeating, so what you want is to change. How do you heal yourself? To say I'm sorry is not enough. How do you help heal a situation so your whole family members know that I'm sorry is not enough, but you help heal that situation?
When you say heal or repair, what do you mean by that?
Many things. Sometimes it's irreparable, it's very difficult, but sometimes to have the humbleness and the love and to say the truth to yourself and say enough, because sometimes it takes one person to say enough. Enough of hate, enough of resentment, enough of being righteous, enough to being absolutely right. And you know what? There is nobody perfect. And if you don't want that ripple effect to come to you and your family, you start changing yourself.
I would like to give you an example because we'll stress the concept you just described. When children witness violence, they have a high tendency, and it's very well demonstrated in psychology, that they will be violent during their adulthood. So we have to be careful with everything we do because everything is an example and we become a role model for them.
So we will give you in these programs tips to change. So today, in this tip for success, at least 2 things. What is your real objective with your children? Make it and say it very clear, and really look at yourself and say, am I resentful? Am I using negative attitudes? Because that is affecting not only your health and your family one, it's affecting your possibility to make money. to get a better job, and really it's affecting your whole life and well-being. So think. We are going to make you think and bring you lots of examples for you to start living better. And if you don't start now, when? If not you, who? And if not now, when? And you know what happened? When you start changing, all of a sudden the people around you start changing. We did it in corporations, we did it in organizations, we did it at university, we did it with families, and we did it with ourselves. We invite you to our next program of Tips for Success. Thank you.
See you next time in Tips for Success. Thank you.